And other payments might be affected too, such as federal tax refunds, SNAP benefits, payments to retirement plans, and even education programs. It's unclear if the federal government would prioritize certain payments within these broad groups. The most likely scenario is funds will be issued chronologically according to when certain payments fall in the calendar cycle. Folks, you have attended with the fourth stimulus check, Social Security benefits, SSI, and SSDI. Continue watching because you don't want to miss out on this. Now, I can't believe this. There are now brand new relief programs that are giving out direct stimulus checks to the residents. These checks are said to be worth as much as $1,000 for many low-income households. But the lawmakers have set strict requirements for these new relief programs. Guaranteed income programs give direct cash payments to recipients in order to address poverty or economic inequality. Mayors for Guaranteed Income, a national network of mayors and researchers spearheading these kinds of programs, are running temporary pilot programs across the country in an effort to address inequities and help families. The nation's largest test of whether universal basic income can reduce poverty is underway. More than 230,000 county Illinois residents applied to be part of the $42 million program, and all households that won the lottery to participate in the 2-year program recently got the first of 24 $500 monthly payments. Half of participants earned $21,000 or less, and 58% of households that are participating in the program include children. The federal government sets the poverty line at $26,000. In addition, Chicago families are testing a guaranteed income program by sending $500 to 5,000 households for a year. Illinois is not the only state that is testing guaranteed income programs. All around the Golden State, families are receiving monthly payments through their participation in guaranteed income programs. Some of the pilots have already started, like the Los Angeles County Guaranteed Income Demonstration Project, which has been sending 1,000 families $1,000. Over in San Diego County, families and individuals impacted by the crisis could be eligible for a $4,000 stimulus check. Starting this May, applications are being accepted for the county's one-time grant program. Recovery Action Fund for Tomorrow, aimed at helping the low-income Americans affected by this crisis. And county officials said more than 2,000 families meet eligibility can potentially receive $4,000 checks. Applicants will be required to provide proof of qualifications. Selections will be made at random. If chosen, those picked will have the money transferred into their bank. And when it comes to the government programs, many lawmakers disagree. Federal student loan borrowers are facing a consequential year ahead. By the end of June, the Supreme Court is expected to issue a final decision on whether the president plans to cancel up to $20,000 in student debt for federal borrowers. Making up to $125,000 is illegal.
I'm going to close with this. We're a serious moment in our nation history, and it's not I mean it from the bottom of my heart. As I said last week, we remain in the battle for the soul of America. By the way, all right, God love you. Let him go. Let him go. No.
Breaking news. New information has been released on Social Security. The Biden administration and lawmakers are working together on Social Security reform. In just a few days, checks worth up to $1,700 will be sent out to eligible seniors. And now, supplemental security income beneficiaries will get 2 checks in September for a maximum sum of $1,700. But the second check is no reason to celebrate, as it's not extra money. In months where bank holidays occur, that pushes up the distribution date for payments. In October, SSI beneficiaries will get no payment. The maximum check is $841 in 2022 for eligible individuals for this federal program, which provides support to disabled, blind, and elderly people who have little to no income. The average monthly benefit is $624. Managing money for the 8 million beneficiaries who rely on SSI benefits can be difficult. That's because they face strict asset and income rules, many of which have not been updated since the program was created in 1972. According to research, most of the program's beneficiaries are within 150% of the federal poverty level, because some states may supplement SSI that may help some beneficiaries get above the federal poverty line. According to Richard Johnson, SSI just provides a bare bones support for older people and people with disabilities, and it really highlights how little support we provide for most valuable Americans. SSI benefits are long overdue for an upgrade that could be posted to change as Washington lawmakers show an increased interest in updating the program. This spring, the 2 U.S. senators from Ohio introduced a bill that will let beneficiaries set more money aside without jeopardizing their eligibility for benefits. The proposal has also drawn co-sponsors from both sides of the aisle, including Ron Wyden. Advocates hope it will be just a first step toward modernizing the program. SSI beneficiaries are currently subject to a $2,000 asset cap for individuals and $3,000 for couples. The Social Security Administration calls this a resource limit, which includes assets a person owns that can be turned into cash, like bank accounts, stock, bonds, or other property. Brown and Portman's bill seeks to raise those limits, which have not changed since 1984, to $10,000 for individuals and $20,000 for couples. The bill would also index those caps to inflation, so they would be adjusted annually. And for now, SSI beneficiaries can count on the fact that the 2 checks they receive in September will not push them above that $2,000 asset threshold. In addition to asset limits, SSI beneficiaries also face restrictions on how much income they can earn before the benefits are reduced. Beneficiaries can have up to $20 in unearned income per month, and their first $65 in earnings are exempt from the program's rules.
No, don't let him go. Let him. Look, everybody's entitled to be an idiot. No, everybody's entitled. And pro-democracy. So when I say the democracy is at stake, I mean what I'm saying, literally. You can't say you support law enforcement if you go home this afternoon, turn on the television, and saw several thousand people storming the British Parliament, knocking down the doors, threatening their lives, trying to overthrow the election of the new Prime Minister, and people dying. What would you think? No, I'm being deadly earnest now. Honest to God, what would you think? You'd think this is not a democracy. Well, let me tell you something. This is why in this moment, those of you in this country, Democrats, Republicans, and mainstream Republicans and independents, we have to be stronger and more determined and more committed to saving America.
Good morning. My name is Christopher Lamont. I am the Deputy Assistant Secretary of State for Democracy, Human Rights, and Labor here at the State Department. I want to welcome everyone to the 3rd Leahy Vetting Conference, and thanks to those joining us virtually. I can say, for my part, it certainly feels like a lot longer than 3 years since we last gathered as a community in 2019. So it feels special to be back together. Let me say as well, I think it feels especially remarkable moment to have with us today 2 of our nation's most distinguished leaders in foreign policy. Senator Patrick Leahy of Vermont with us this morning. Senator, I know that this phrase is used often, but I feel confident in saying today that we literally wouldn't be here today but for you. We're so pleased to have you with us in person today. Before you deliver your keynote remarks, Senator, we're also extremely fortunate to have with us Deputy Secretary Wendy Sherman to open our conference this morning. Deputy Secretary Sherman, by my count, you have